And even though it was a really great experience, if I'm gonna be totally honest, I promised I would tell you guys about the date I went on in Italy. Bringing a guy and a gift on a first date is kind of... I was sobbing in the car. I was kind of 50-50 about it when I first left, and now I'm starting to lean towards... I did officially make the decision. I'm gonna stay.
Hey friends, it's been a while. We have a lot to catch up on. I was so diligent about updating you guys on my digital nomad adventures ever since I left New York City almost 4 months ago now. The truth is, I've had the most incredible 6 weeks in Thailand that I didn't find the time to edit, but that means I have so many stories and lessons and updates that I'm so excited to share with you. It's going to take at least a few videos to get you guys up to speed, but today I'm going to be sharing with you all my unfiltered thoughts about my time in Europe, spilling all the tea on my experiences using dating apps abroad, thoughts about moving out of the United States and going down an unconventional life path, and much more. Grab your tea and let's begin.
Hey
guys! I'm coming to you from Bangkok, Thailand. I know you can't really tell from my background right now, but okay, let me show you the view from my balcony. Isn't that insane? I'm staying on Sukhumvit Road, which is like the main road in Bangkok. I'm staying with my friend Amna, which if you remember from my Why I'm Leaving New York video, she was one of the people that I mentioned as someone who inspired me to leave New York. This is actually our first time hanging out, like me staying with her is our first time hanging out. She is currently here doing a culinary school program, honestly just as a side quest, and I was like, oh my god, this girl gets me. We are the same. So yes, I am now in Asia and I just finished my Europe leg of my digital nomad tour. That was actually a completely separate trip outside of everything. So I went to Europe and I came home. I had to like take care of a lot of random errands. So like I did my global entry interview, I voted, I got my China visa, I went to my tattoo removal appointment, like I don't know, just a bunch of random like errands that I had to run. But now I am here in Asia. I booked a one-way flight and I have no idea when I'm going home. Just crazy to think about. So far, I am loving Thailand. I was actually afraid that I would love Thailand a little bit too much. I don't know what that is, but like I actually kind of knew that I would be in love with this place before I even got here. Before I even got on the plane, I had thought about canceling Vietnam so I could spend more time in Thailand, and I can confirm I did officially make the decision. I'm gonna stay. It just makes so much more sense because I want to spend more time in a country to like really get to know it, because once I leave it might be harder for me to come back, because then I might be in the mindset like I may as well go somewhere I've never been before. So while I'm here, I want to get everything out of the experience. Plus I actually know a lot more people here. I actually have 2 friends that I made in America who now live here, and they introduced me to their friends, and then I'm just meeting people left and right. I just love Asia. So anyways, let me actually just catch you up on where we're at, which by the way, I hope you guys don't mind that I'm doing a bit more of a chill chatty video, because to be honest, I just don't have the time to edit at the level that I would like to and that I have been. Okay, actually, hold on. Let me back up for anyone who's actually new here. Basically, I was living in Chicago and then I decided, you know what? I want more for my life. I want to adventure somewhere. I moved to New York. I ended up living in New York for 5 months. Absolutely fell in love with the city. Could not imagine how life could get any better. And then I had this nagging, itching feeling that I should travel the world as a digital nomad and pursue a dream that I've always had in the back of my head for a long time. So even though it was a really tough decision and I felt super confused for a long time, I decided to bite the bullet and just do it. So I left New York and now I'm here traveling full time while working remote. The first stop on my tour was in Europe. I went to Italy and Portugal, and that was for about 3 weeks, so not very long. It was a good little intro to get me started because I haven't really done all that much solo travel internationally, so it was good for me to be like, okay, what do I need to pack? Like, what's important to me? What kind of things am I looking for? How do I prevent burnout? All that kind of stuff. Like, how do I maintain some kind of routine and keep myself sane in this whole process? So it was definitely a lot of lessons that I learned. And even though it was a really great experience, if I'm gonna be totally honest, I did not really have the whole like mind-blowingly amazing, super fulfilling, like memorable, I'm gonna be telling stories about this till the day I die type of experience there that I was hoping for, that people talk about when they go solo traveling, you know? I didn't really even get anywhere close to that. And the reason for that is because I just didn't really make any connections. At the end of the day, life is just about the relationships that you have and the people that you meet. Like, that's what's important. And I honestly was feeling really antisocial for some reason when I was in Europe. Not even that, I actually just didn't really run into people that I vibed with or that were my age. For some reason, I kept running into like 19, 20-year-olds or people in their like 30s, 40s, 50s. And not to say that I couldn't hang out with someone who isn't my age, but like, I don't know. I feel like, okay, I have a few theories as to why I think that this happened. Wait, oh my gosh, hold on. I'm just gonna bring out Frankie here so he can participate because he has been holed up in my bedroom everywhere that I've been. So I'm just gonna put him right there. Also, now that I've been in Asia for the same amount of time that I was in Europe so far, in comparison, I actually think it's just way, way easier to meet people in Asia. In Europe, there's so many families, couples, and even in the hostel situations, here I have not really been staying in any hostels at all, and I've met exponentially more people. I don't really know what it is. Maybe it has something to do with me and how I just energetically connect with places, or I've also heard from other people they also think it's way easier to meet friends in Asia. So side note, honestly, this is kind of why I wish that I did this when I was in my early 20s, because not that I think that I would have been ready to do this in my early 20s, but as a person in your early 20s, you were just so much more free, like way more free than I am right now. You're so unattached that you probably actually could just move to another country if you wanted to, and it wouldn't fuck up too many things. At this point in my life, I feel like I already have built all these attachments to my home, to my lifestyle in the United States, to the friends that I made there. Like, I'm really, really looking forward to going back and seeing my friends in New York and Chicago. And I have a really great job that I'm a little bit hesitant to let go of, even though it's not completely what I want to do forever. Like, I know that I got really, really lucky with this position, so I want to take advantage of it. So I feel like I'm somewhat limited in these ways where I'm like, I'm not really looking for a new country to move to. Of course, never say never, because I am being a little tempted by Thailand, I'm not gonna lie. But I always hear these stories of like some person's friend who took a gap year to Vietnam and then they met the love of their life there, and now they went there and they never left, and now they built a whole life there. Like, I couldn't do that. I don't know. I mean, like, if I were to decide to uproot my life and move to a completely new country, it would take a lot more convincing. It would take a lot more logistics. I would definitely stop at home and like take care of a bunch of things first, like before I would even consider that. I don't know. I just don't feel completely unattached anymore. And I feel like maybe that is something I'm also trying to work on while I'm out here, is the law of detachment. Attachment is the root of all suffering. We know this. I fear that I am still slightly limiting myself by holding on to these promises that I made to myself, to my friends back home, to the social conventions that I was raised with, that I'm so used to, that it's almost tempting, it's almost easier, it feels safer, that I can always fall back on doing the traditional path that your parents and everyone around you laid out. You know, get a corporate job, move up the ladder, settle down in the suburbs, have kids, very nice, peaceful life. I mean, I'm not saying that that's bad. I just know that deep down, I'm not really sure that that's what I want. I was kind of 50-50 about it when I first left, and I'm starting to lean towards the unconventional path, because as I've been out here, obviously I'm meeting other travelers and I'm continuing to be introduced to different paths of life, different ways of living that are alternative to the conventional standard that we've all been conditioned to believe is the one correct way. And it's just so beautiful to see, because there's infinite possibilities out there. I've seen almost every variation of being a digital nomad or traveling or living on the road, van life, all these different people from all walks of life, all different ages too. Something about that kind of lifestyle of moving around a lot, spending a few months in each different country, stuff like that has always really spoken to me. And it's just a bit scarier because there's not as many people laying out the groundwork for you to tell you like, this is what you do next, because it really is so up to you. It's like completely customizable, which is the beautiful part and also the scary part. But I know that it's possible, and I keep meeting more and more people that are doing it, and it's inspiring me every single day. And I really believe that like attracts like. This kind of goes back to manifestation if you guys are into that, but I keep thinking about how I just ended up here where I am right now in Bangkok working remote, is because I just listened to my inner voice. Even though I didn't really know what was gonna come next, I knew deep down there was something pulling me, something there. So even when I was back in Chicago, I had been wrestling with whether or not I wanted to move out of Chicago for years, actually. I almost did it and then I backed out, pushed it back. Almost did it and then I pushed it back a few more months. I did that for years, guys. And then when I finally just like thought, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I'm moving. I don't even know where. I actually didn't even decide that I was gonna move to New York until very shortly before. I just knew I wanted to move somewhere. I didn't know where it was gonna be. And then when I was in India, I got this gut feeling that I'm like, I think I need to move to New York. I can't explain it, but I'm just gonna do it. As soon as I got back from India, I started apartment searching and I signed a lease within 2 weeks. And then within a month after I got back, I moved to New York. So it happened super, super quickly. And then while I was in New York, I continued to meet more people of the people that I was looking for, people who are adventurous, who wanted more out of life, who wanted to explore more, which I felt I struggled to meet back in Chicago. So in New York, I continued to meet those people, which introduced me to more of those people, which introduced me to more of this world. And that's how I ended up meeting more people who were doing the digital nomad thing, or people like Amna. The people that I mentioned in my video, those people just suddenly kept popping up around me. And because I had moved into this mindset of I want to be adventurous, I want to explore the world, I want to live life for all that it has to offer, I started attracting people in my life who felt and lived the same way. And now that I'm out here and I've reached an even higher level of I want to explore the world, I am attracting even more people who are doing that to a more extreme level. So who even knows how much further this can go? You know, I've only been in Asia for 3 weeks now, and it's been crazy, guys. I cannot wait to tell you about my Thai massage course because it way exceeded my expectations. I actually couldn't even believe how much fun I had, how much joy I felt going to school every morning to see my friends. I actually canceled my plans to go to Pi so that I could stay for an extra week at school because I just loved it so much. I wanted to learn more. I wanted to spend more time with the people that I met there. I just couldn't even believe how beautiful experience it was. I was actually bawling after my graduation and I called an Uber directly to the airport because I had to rush. I was sobbing in the car, guys. Like, that doesn't happen. I was literally talking to you guys in a previous video about how like I struggled to cry. So this like hit me out of nowhere. I was totally not expecting that to happen, but I can assuredly say I already have so many stories here that I'm so excited to tell you guys about that I don't really have time to get into here. I'll probably make maybe shorts about them, about each little adventure, but I can confidently say that I am finally having the mind-blowingly amazing adventures that I was hoping to have now that I'm here, and I'm so relieved. I just, oh my god, it just lights my soul up on fire. I cannot believe I'm here. Like, sometimes I really just have these moments. A lot of times before I go to bed, I'm like, holy shit, is this my life? Oh my god. Oh my god, we're doing it. We're here. This is crazy. So because I felt like, to be honest, my experience in Europe was a little bit lackluster, I came up with a new game plan, okay? This is how my plan of attack for Asia and how I'm gonna regroup. We're gonna come with a better strategy and then we're gonna face this thing head on, all right? But anyways, I had come up with some new rules for myself for how I'm gonna approach things differently now that I'm in Asia and for henceforth on this trip, because I have no idea where I'm going after this or when I'm going home. So rule number one was that I am going to get dinner with someone every single day. I found this is actually really hard to do, so I amended it to just some kind of social interaction, one-on-one or one-on-two. And I think that's really important because it requires me to be that person again, to be the person to reach out first, to get someone's Instagram or phone number and ask them to hang out, to actually be the one to set these things up and not just wait for them to happen to me. I think I was feeling very passive in Europe. I wasn't really saying yes to new opportunities. I was just like, oh, I'm feeling kind of tired, or I don't really feel like it, or I want to have time so I can stay back and catch up on work. So none of that energy, okay? The second rule is that the first day of traveling to a new place is allowed to suck. Actually expected to suck. So as soon as I check into a new place, chug water, change into a fresh set of clothes, wash your face, engage in self-care practices. So in Thailand, of course, I went and got a massage, went to the spa. It was really, really nice. That first day is purely focused on self-care and rejuvenating yourself. It's normal to feel a little bit grumpy, or feel like you don't want to be here, or maybe regretting some of your decisions, but that's okay. That's gonna happen. Just get through the first 24 hours and then you'll be good. Rule number 3 has to do with the type of connections I'm looking for. So because I've decided I'm not really out here looking for a new home or anything, since there is no point in me trying to meet any new close friends, then what I'm really, really looking for and optimizing for in new connections is diversity. So talk to as many people as I can that are as different from me as possible, learn about the way that they grew up, learn their story, how that shaped their worldview. That is gonna be the most important in like the type of learning and cultural exposure that I need. Then I'll actually be learning something new, as opposed to like if I were to actually be optimizing for like I'm trying to find my new besties out here, then I'm naturally going to gravitate towards people who are most similar to me. So probably other women in their mid-20s, speaks English, maybe also traveling, and you know, those are really great connections too, and those are super worth it, but then I'm not necessarily getting into like the culture of a place. And then if I end up looking for those kind of people and hoping that we become really close friends, then I'll just get disappointed if it doesn't work out, or you know, we have to split ways, or we just don't vibe like that. So I'm just optimizing for new experiences, meeting cool people. But to be honest, I didn't even have this problem. So I made these rules for me when I first got to Asia. I've been in Asia for now 3 weeks, and I actually have not had to use these rules as much as I thought, because I just generally met so many people that I just actually vibed with, like to my core. Like I actually think we could be friends. I plan on visiting these people and meeting up again in their home countries, or maybe as we continue traveling. These are people that I would probably be friends with whether or not I was traveling or not. It's just super lucky that we happened to cross paths here. So I don't know, I'm just feeling super grateful. I don't even know where this story is going, but this is just okay, I just wanted to chat and catch up with you guys because this is where I'm at right now, and I'm actually getting ready to go on a second date. Okay, maybe this is a good opportunity to catch you guys up about my whole dating experiences so far. So I promised I would tell you guys about the date I went on in Italy. Okay, so I went on a date with someone in Italy because a lot of my friends encouraged me to go on Hinge when I was in Europe, because they're like, oh, it's super fun, you know, the guys are super hot, you can have a little fling, you know, it's just like a fun time, like, you know, it's harmless. So I went on a date with someone who actually wasn't even Italian. I actually don't even remember anymore. I think he was from London, but he was doing fashion design school in Rome, which I thought was super, super cool. And I was really, really looking forward to our date actually. I was like, oh, I have a good feeling about this. I think this is gonna be fun. So while I was on the date, I was like a little bit unsure if he liked me and also whether or not I liked him. And then at the end of the date, it was like a little bit awkward. We kind of just went our own ways. Nothing even happened, no kiss or anything. I'm not really interested in like a one night stand type situation anyways. Like I genuinely, honestly really wanted to have a little romance. Like I wanted to have something that lasted like a little bit longer than just like one day. I wanted to have like a genuine connection with someone and just like have fun, you know? I'm not really like, I'm not gonna get anything out of just like a one night stand, one day thing. So I think I was really hoping that would be deeper than this. So I was really glad that he wanted to hang out with me for a second day. So I'm like, okay, we can continue this little adventure. But then the next day, when it rolled around and it was almost time for me to go meet up with him, I was kind of like, you know what? I don't think I really want to go. Like in my heart, like I'm not really looking forward to this. I wanted to flake on him, and then he texted me and he also canceled. Like he made up some BS excuse, and I was like, honestly, that kind of worked out. We just both flaked on each other. So I'm glad I didn't go through with the second date, but to be honest, afterwards I actually felt really shitty. I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but like anytime any romantic thing doesn't work out, I tend to question my self-worth as a person. And it's not even like I was like in love with this person or if I really had a crush on him. I think deep down I was really hoping that it would work out, like I would have like a cute little romance, and it didn't have to be a long-term thing, but like I found myself deep down wanting more, and then I just felt kind of disappointed. So in the end, I actually regretted trying to even go on a date at all, because it just made me feel worse afterwards. Like it made me do the thing where I question my self-worth, and I'm like, oh, I just feel kind of shitty. I feel rejected. I feel like I'm gonna be alone forever and that no one likes me, and like there must be something inherently wrong with me, you know, like all those like thoughts that just run in your head. This thing that was just supposed to be fun, harmless, just a cute little story or just a little adventure, just ended up making me feel like shit, and it ruined my day for like half the day. I don't actually fully regret it though, because I think it was important that I went through the experience, because it really, when I reflected back on it, it made me realize that actually I think I just want something more. I had mentioned before that one of my goals coming out here in my little soul searching journey is that I want to figure out what I want in a partner, what kind of life I want to live in the future, and just figure out what I want so that I can know like what I'm looking for, you know? And before I even left, even back when I was in New York, I was kind of in a state where I'm like, you know what? I think I'm done with like the whole short-term casual stuff. Like I'm genuinely not interested anymore. Like either you're my person or just stop wasting my time. I just don't really see any value in that anymore. So I had already kind of been feeling that back in the United States, and then going on this date abroad just really made me realize like how empty it made me feel inside, to be hoping for something romantic and then end up not feeling important to someone, and then just, I don't know, the whole thing, it just made me realize like, okay, actually I think I'm just ready for something long-term. So I actually kind of said like, from now on, I'm not really gonna go out of my way to try and go on dates or anything, because like, what's the point? And yet here I am going on a second date today, which was also someone that I met from Hinge. Apparently in Thailand, Hinge is something you can only get like in the United States or like outside countries. You can't download it here, so it's actually mostly just for foreigners. So it's for foreigners or expats to meet other foreigners or expats actually. So while yes, I did end up going back on a dating app again, even though I said I wouldn't do this anymore, I am still much more picky about the type of people that I will entertain, the type of people that I'm willing to meet up with, let alone even text or talk talk to on the app is way more limited than it was before, and it already was pretty limited before. So here in Thailand, I really only talked to one guy, and it was this guy that I'm going on a second date with today. We had our first date 2 days ago, and it was super fun. We went to Chinatown and we did a little street food tour, and we made it a competition. So like we each did a little bit of our own research beforehand, and we said like whoever can pick the best place wins. And we got to try out all these different foods, desserts, drinks, and it was a lot of fun. And also this is something that like I've never ever done before on a first date, but I actually brought him a little gift, which is something so out of character, but I realized that like in today's day and age, I think modern dating is so impersonal. It's so self-serving. Like no one ever wants to be on the losing side. They always want to be like, how can I always have the one up over this person? How can I win the breakup? How can I make sure I always hold more power? And I think it's such a sad way of approaching love. Like this is why love is dead, guys. And I totally understand that mindset. It's because we've all been hurt. It's because we've all had bad stories that traumatized us, that really hurt us before, that we never want to feel that way again. So this is how we're keeping ourselves safe. And I totally get that, and I think I did that for years too. So I put up my walls for a really long time. But for whatever reason, I said that I would continue listening to my gut while I'm out here. So while I was souvenir shopping for my friends, I found this crochet stand. I love crochet stands. I'll always spend so much money there. And I was picking out little gifts for my friends, and then for some reason I felt called to get him one too, even though I literally have never met him before. We'd only been texting for a few weeks, but we were talking about apartment decor because he just moved into a new apartment. So I felt like it kind of made sense. I'm like, okay, I'll just get him a little trinket. It's literally like $1, and I think it was really cute. So I picked one out that I thought matched his vibe, and then I got one that like matched for me. Just these like two little guys that are just so adorable. And I thought like, is this a weird thing to do? Like we literally never met before. Bringing a guy and a gift on a first date is kind of like, this is unheard of, you know? But for some reason I felt called to do it, so I did it, and I'm actually so glad that I did. I mean, obviously first I sussed out whether or not he was an asshole, which I knew he wasn't. Of course, if I didn't like him, I would not have given it to him at all, but like about an hour into our date, it kind of just came up. So then I'm like, oh, I pulled it out and I gave it to him, and it ended up being a super fun little game on our date. Like we named each other's, and like I don't know, I told my friend about this, and she actually said something that was so profound that like, let me just pull up the screenshot of her message so I can read it to you. She said, "This is beautiful, Kelly. I feel that a lot of times we think going out of our way to do things that are unnecessary is being on the losing side, because it implies we are putting ourselves out there for a chance of rejection or not being reciprocated, when in reality it's a sign of strength and self-esteem, knowing that you are capable of giving this to him without feeling like you're losing yourself." I just loved the way that she put it. It's just so beautifully said, because I think it actually is a sign of how far I've come in healing. I have struggled a lot with dating in the past few years because of how traumatized I am, frankly, but dating has not felt like something that is super fun and hee hee ha ha and really cute and romantic. Like falling in love is not something that I look forward to. It actually makes me panic. It's actually a really scary thing for me now, and I feel like I constantly have my guard up, have my walls up, and I just never really felt safe in it. But I think it actually is a sign that I felt comfortable putting myself out there, being a little bit vulnerable in that moment is a sign of my own confidence and my own strength. So growing moment, I don't know, proud of myself. And obviously the date went well. We're hanging out again in an hour, so we're gonna go to the park and go kayaking in the river. And it's the park that has the giant lizards. Like it's like Central Park, but it has lizards that are like this big. It's crazy. I can't wait to see them. And then we're gonna go down to Jod Fair night market for dinner. Guys, I love night markets. Oh my god. So anyways, I'm really looking forward to it. And it's not even like I really necessarily think me and this guy are like romantically compatible, because I mean, first of all, at the very base level, I don't live in Bangkok, and I probably won't. I don't think so. At least that's not a decision that I'm prepared to make, and that's also not something that I want to be swayed by a guy anyway. So it doesn't even matter. I actually think that regardless, I think we could be really good friends, and I want to stay friends with him for a really long time. I am just super grateful that I met him. I'm actually super grateful for all the people I've met here so far. It's actually crazy, guys. I'm like, I'm loving life here. Maybe this is a sign. I feel like someone from an outside perspective hearing all the things that I've been saying is gonna be like, it sounds like you want to move here. Don't tempt me, don't tempt me, don't tempt me. It's what I said before, okay? The thing that's holding me back are simply my attachments. Like my attachment to my job, my attachment to my life back in New York, my attachment to my friends back there, and like the type of lifestyle I lived, my attachment to my United States phone number. Guys, I will never ever let go of my phone number. Obviously I'm not gonna tell you guys what it is because I'm not trying to dox myself, but I have the best phone number of all time. I would actually lose my shit if I ever had to lose it or something ever happened to it, like even if I ever moved out of the country, if it was just for a year or two, I think I would actually keep my phone plan active and pay for it because I would never ever letting go of my phone number. See, it's stuff like this that's so stupid. That's so stupid. Like these little attachments that if I just let go of them, I could actually unlock a world and a life that is so much more beautiful and meant for me. But it's the attachments that are the root of all suffering. Tell him, Frankie, tell him. So anyways, I think that's gonna do it for this week's catch up because I'm gonna have to head to my date soon. But let me know, guys, if you don't mind this more like casual chit-chatty video, because obviously I would love to do the more creative, artistic edits. I do feel bad that like the background never changed and I don't have any like crazy edits to show you guys and probably not that much b-roll. But I do want to continue doing more of those like more creative edits and stuff. Those just take so much more time. So if you guys are chill with doing these every once in a while, then that way I can put out more videos rather than less. So I don't know, let me know what you guys think about it. Maybe the super high standards that I put on myself of spending hours and hours and hours on a video to make it absolutely perfect and super highly polished and highly edited and produced is like too serious. Maybe it doesn't need to be all that, you know? I don't need to have a mental breakdown every single time I have a big project that I assign to myself. You know what I'm saying? When I get to this point and I start rambling and not really making sense, that's how I know when it's time to turn off the camera. So signing off, guys. It's been great catching up. I will see you next week. I will probably still be in Thailand because I decided to stay. So all right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Oh wait, say bye, Frankie.